Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to SATAL 2020. I'm your host, Moltar, and we are skipping things today and moving right along. Low Blow is here with me today. Mustache man Billy Waugh Merlin is on a raft somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean floating on his mustache. Haven't heard from him. Not sure where he is. I blame a hurricane somewhere. But how are you doing, Low Blow? How's everything going? I think your guys' 1v1 event went very well over the weekend.
Yeah, I'm good, Malta. How are you, man? Yeah, it went all right. I won.
I guess it went decently well if that was the case. So that's good. I don't know how everybody else feels about that, but it probably felt pretty good for you.
No, it was fine. I was lucky to win. AS missed a couple of shots there, but I didn't miss. So that's how the cookie crumbles.
That's good. Real quick, let's talk about who's flying today. Is TFS 81 Tactical Fighter Squadron 81 against 343rd Naval Air Group. So let's look at who is flying. TFS 81 is being represented by 81 Rook, Seagull, and then I actually need to flip over and see who else is flying. Banana in an F-14 here, rocking the 4 Phoenixes. And then who is the other one? It is going to be Sky, because I don't know how to pronounce the rest of his name, in an F-16. So we have, what's down there? 2 18s, a 14, and a 16 for this side. Whereas if we flip over to the other side here, pause this one, and we take a look at the other camera taken off, we have an F-14 being piloted by Rosmum, a F-18 being piloted by Sabre, and then if we flip around, if I can know how my cameras work, we have a F-18 being piloted by Null and another 18 being piloted by Starry Fox 9. So lots of 18s coming today. I think this is a B weapon restriction, if I remember correctly looking at the listing, but who knows? Moltar's wrong a lot of the time, so I don't know if I'm going to be right there. But I'm going to assume B weapon restriction. Lots of Hornets today. I guess people were getting ready for the big change in the Jahemic site with the data link integration, with everything that's coming supposedly in tomorrow's patch. But Low Blow, big news today, not necessarily in SATAL or DCS, but today is election day in the United States, and I'm expecting the entire country to be on fire. So hopefully we can get through this stream before I am engulfed in a riot that the entire country will probably be a part of for God knows what reason. But that's what I have to look forward to today.
Well, good luck, man. Yeah.
You know,
anyway.
hopefully I don't die. That's the
plan. Stark difference between these two teams here today on the stats as well. Do you want me to go over those?
Yeah, go ahead.
We've got 343 KU and TFS 81. 343 KU at the top of their division at the moment with a 1.22 KD, and TFS 81 at the bottom with a 0.33 KD. So big difference there. 80% win rate for 343 versus a 16% win rate for TFS.
Well, I want to say that 343rd is one of the best in business as far as Gold League goes. Did I vote? Early. Voted early. I don't have to fight the crowds today. It's all about the early. Getting on top of it. Sky, why do you have your gear down? What is going on? Oh, wrong button. Lots of people have liked to show their dominance by flying with their gear down. I don't know if is he landing? Did he forget something? Looks like he's turning around to land. Maybe his alignment screwed up? Interesting. You are allowed to do this. I mean, there's no issues with turning around if you screwed something up as long as you don't die. No on says no sidewinders on the Viper. You can. Most people just don't take them. They'd rather have a 120. Sky says, I thought my loadout is wrong and landed back, then my system's bugged. Oh, okay. So Sky actually says what was wrong. All right, that makes sense. So was it actually wrong? Or was things just messed up? Or did you think something was messed up and it actually wasn't? We're going to fast forward. Well, we won't fast forward. I don't want to rush things too much. So he puts it down. I think I fixed the lag that we were having where things were freaking out and things would stutter when you had both people on the both screens on the airfield, or, you know, different things going on. I think I fixed that, so hopefully performance is going to be better for today. I'm going to try and mess with some stuff, maybe go to 720p. for the reason that I'm going to try and get more cameras. So if maybe 720p will allow me to do 2 more cameras, which is awesome. It would be very beneficial. And I don't know that you guys would even notice a difference between 1080p and 720p over the stream. I've shown some people, and with the encoding and stuff, I don't know that there would be a difference. But enough about that. Lobo, how do you think, you talked about a stark contrast, how do you think today's match is going to go? I got to give the advantage to 343rd based solely on what we're seeing in the stats.
Well, I'd agree with that, and also based on how we've seen them fly in the past, they tend to come into these matches with a pretty solid game plan, and then they back that up with good execution. So I think they're very good at communicating, even under pressure, and I think that's going to hold them in good stead today.
That's true, but TFS 81 or Tactical Fighter Squadron 81 could be out with a little bit of a notch on their shoulder. Do you think they're going to be out for blood? Do you think they're going to be able to do something against 343rd and really give 343rd for a run for their money and maybe get put a mark up there in the win category?
I'm not sure. You know, it depends on if they fight, how they train, and have they trained for specifically fighting against 343. You know, because it's one thing to train your own tactics, but the bandit gets a vote, right?
Right.
And in this case, the bandits are 343, and you know, they're going to have a pretty solid game plan. So whether the 81st have managed to prepare for today specifically is yet to be seen.
Right. It'll be interesting. I think we've got one Tomcat in this match, and it is on the 343rd side. We have one Tomcat on both sides. So Banana for 81 is in a Tomcat, and then Rossmum for 343rd is in a Tomcat. Like I said earlier, I think this is the B weapon restriction, so I'm going to assume that we are going to see Mark 47s, the A variant of the Phoenix. Somebody was asking, why is his engines like that? Yeah, that's a good question. Why were his engines like that? Who was that? Was that Rook? It was somebody, and the nozzles, the turkey feathers, looked like he had one throttle pushed a bit more forward than the other one. That was interesting. Mad Eye the Hornet, Rook says. I don't know. Rook, why were your engines like that? I blame you, the pilot. I don't think it's the plane. It's you. Actually, I don't know what was causing that.
Now have a look at what we've got going on here. So at the moment, this is a 3v4 because Sky is still just departing. We've got Rook facing off against Starry Fox 9, and he's backed up. Well, Starry Fox with Seba 17 miles in trail, and then Rossman behind him. So, you know, if Rook overcommits here, it's not going to be good for him because he doesn't really have any mutual support from Seagull and Banana up there in the north at the moment.
Right, and Starry Fox 9, I think, is, if he commits but doesn't overcommit, I think he's in the driver's seat, especially because if we look back here on the map, Rook is now cold. And I think Starry Fox 9 also has the altitude advantage, yeah. So Starry Fox 9 is sitting at 28,000 feet, almost 30,000 feet. Rook is down at 20,000 feet. Starry Fox 9 also has a 100-knot speed advantage over Rook. So I think the question's going to be, as we've seen several times in the past and as we talk about a lot, which team is going to be able to stay closer together and provide that mutual support and situational awareness that is going to take them over the hill. I think a lot of times it's the teams that have a tendency to commit into engagements one at a time that really put themselves on the back foot and create a hill in front of themselves that they have to then climb up in order to overcome their adversary.
Right. Now, that's a 25-mile Phoenix from Banana on Starry Fox 9 there, and Starry Fox going full-on defensive split S there through 10,000 feet now.
Now, I don't think he got the missile warning. I think he actually visually identified the Phoenix launch, looking out of his cockpit, and said, nope, I got to get the hell out of Dodge, turned away, and I think he's going to be fine defending this missile. He's got more than enough smash on the jet, 675 knots down. I like that he went from high to low altitude, so now he's down if he needs to quickly notch. The Hornet is known for being able to very quickly expend energy. Getting down into the low airspeeds to be able to notch effectively, I really like what we're seeing out of Starry Fox 9. Now, the next question is going to be, is one of these missiles going to jump from Starry Fox 9 onto Seaber. Because we can
Yeah,
see
that-
Seaber
that,
ingressing here, but I don't think it's either of these are going to be a
Nah.
problem.
No. But these guys really need to start turning their lights off, man. I mean, for guys in VR, they are like a beacon with those lights on.
Maybe it's a bug. Maybe they do turn their
You
lights
reckon?
off. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. I have no idea. No idea. A couple things while these guys are continuing to ingress here. TFS 81's Banana is doing an awesome job with the livery pack. I did not put it in today because what do we call it? Daylight savings time really screwed me up, so we were an hour late. So be aware that TFS 81 has released, TFS 81's Banana has released the latest version of the livery pack for DCS World Events, and it's right now it's the competitive teams that are going to be part of it. Hopefully eventually we're going to be able to include other teams, but it's one livery per team, and we hope to just be able to allow provide a way for teams to be able to see who else is on the ramp or who they're fighting against. So Seaber now has an incoming Mark 47. Can we see it back there? There it is. 2.5 miles back. Don't think that's going to be a problem. Low blow, I got to say again, 343rd's doing a really good job of recognizing the early launches and getting away from them, getting away from these Phoenixes without too much trouble.
Yeah, he's fine. But you know what's interesting is that 343 didn't pick up on the fact that they were in a 3v4 there for a while. And now Sky's managed to rejoin with his team and we're back to a 4v4.
Well, it's hard. It's a hard thing to pick up. It's a hard thing to recognize when you're in a 3v3 or a 4v3 because you don't know if your sensors are showing you the full picture. Something we need to jump up here and see is Noel has an incoming 120 on him. Is that going to be any type of an issue for him? It's getting decently close, but again, I'm going to keep saying it. 343rd doing an excellent job at defending these incoming threats before they become an unsurmountable issue. So that missile,
Yeah, and
he got an early missile warning, defended immediately, had enough energy on the jet to be able to drag that, go down, and put it into the ground. I really like what I'm seeing from 343rd. And on the flip side of that, TFS 81 just has not been tested. I don't even know that 343rd has shot a missile.
Yeah, but here you go, chat pointing out that
there is a TAL.
ADM 141. Yeah, ADM 141 in the air, which is a big brain play. We don't see that very often.
No. I don't remember the last time we actually saw one. I don't know that we've seen one this year. We saw them a couple times last year when they first came out, but I don't know that we've seen one. So we're going to ride along with that and see if it causes 81 to put any munitions into it. But low blow, again, I think this is the first type of munition that 343rd Naval Air Group has put into the air.
Well, the Japanese are known for their ingenuity, and here's a good demonstration of that, right?
Well, I think taking that ingenuity a step further, it should have been a what are they called? What are those big air-to-sea missiles called?
What, a harpoon?
Yeah. So the harpoons actually act like TALDs. They show up on radar and can attract missile launches. We saw it earlier this year, and it was really interesting to be able to see. It flew through, and it was like a poor man's TALD. It was interesting. They fired him off the Hornet. It was just bizarre. But they act the same, and they stay in the air decently well because they just kind of glide.
What has Null done firing a 9M there at beyond 10 miles?
So sometimes you can catch people off guard with the 9Ms. As long as you don't make it seem like you've launched anything, you can launch from maybe 10 miles as long as you have the altitude. And what was Null's altitude? 4,000. I don't like that shot. But as long as you have the altitude, it's like an invisible missile. And sometimes you can get your enemy to just fly into it. They can't maneuver at all because the 9's just like a flying brick. But sometimes you can catch people off guard. Centurion asks, why 120 Bs instead of Cs? Because of the weapon restrictions. So this is the B weapon restriction, which means the Cs are banned, the Mark 47, the Mark 60s version of the Phoenix are banned, and the Charlie variant of the Phoenixes are banned. Teams are able to select this weapon restriction at the beginning of each match. So they select and go through a mission banning process, and they also select the weapon restriction. It just allows teams flexibility on dictating what type of match or event that they want to fly. One thing we need to watch is this Mark 47 as his ingresses. We're going to keep the TALD on the other screen just to see if anything happens with it. But this Mark 47 got pretty close, I'm going to say, to TFS 81's Tomcat, and it's coming through on Sky. Is it going to jump to Sky? No, and it doesn't have enough energy to be able to maneuver anyway, so this Phoenix is dead. And I got to give now TFS 81 credit. They're doing a really good job of defending these missiles early before they become a really big problem, which we haven't seen lately.
Let's talk about that TALD for a minute. So what would you expect 81 to be seeing on their sensors?
I don't know. I don't really fly. I don't know that I've ever flown against a TALD. I don't know. I don't know what it would look like on data link. They can probably recognize it. They do have AWACS. They probably see it on data link and be like, that thing's really slow. That's probably a TALD because it probably shows up like it does a helicopter. So they can probably assume that it is indeed a TALD. So,
I mean, it's faster than any helicopter I know. It's doing 280 knots there.
Yeah.
Slowing down to 250 now, but
the MI8 can go that fast, can it?
280 knots? Really?
I don't know. Can it? It's been a long time since I've flown it.
No. I don't think you can do 280.
I mean, it's like an A10. We'll call it.
It's like an A10. It's like an A10. Yeah.
So now we've got a Phoenix coming in on Sky, and this may be the first casualty of the game, as this thing's going to have some juice by the time it reaches Sky. Sky's going to be in trouble. He's not maneuvering, and this is going to pulverize him and take Sky out of the fight. And Sky is the first casualty of this match. So TFS 81 was in a 3v4 for a while because I think it was who RTB'd. I think it was it Sky or was it Rook? No, it was Sky, RTB, to change the weapons, and he entered the fight late and then is immediately the first casualty. So Sky gets taken down, and now we've got a 120 being launched from Saber onto Banana.
7 miles.
And that's, I think, going to be a little bit too far away to be any type of threat for Banana, especially as
I don't think
yeah, he's going to be
that was close.
Just fine. Half mile away, no problem. But Banana has killed his engines. Banana? Is he out of fuel? What happened? Banana, no! I think Banana's out of fuel, or he fuel-starved his engines. How do you run out of fuel that fast? This match hasn't been going very long, but I think he's out of gas. Yeah, his gear's down. No idea what happened there. He jettisoned the Phoenix.
We got Null firing a 120 at Seagull there. He's already shot 2 9Ms, and that's a 7-mile slammer on Seagull with a 120 coming back at him. He's going to be. Yeah, I think they're both okay, to be honest.
Yeah, they're both fine. So the 120B, you've really got to be in, let's say, 4 or 5 miles to make them effective. They've got like a 1 to 2 mile variant or difference variation between them and the sea. So you really got to be a lot closer. They don't maintain their energy as well. They can't reach that as high of a top speed as the 120C. But moving on, we've got a fight developing. I don't think we need to look at Banana anymore. We've got a possible fight developing between Rook and the entire team from 343rd, as he is continually isolating himself down to here to the south. And sorry, Fox Knight, I think, recognized that he himself was a little bit isolated. We can actually flip over as Banana goes gear down. Oh, he found an airfield. He's landing at Krimsk, but that's not going to matter because it's in the bubble. So that doesn't save him at all. But his plane, he goes out with style, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry, Fox Knight, just dragging back, and Seaber now taking a look at Seagull there from 5 miles with that 120B.
Well, Seagull actually launched an AIM-9. And it went into the ground. But these guys are doing a really good job of recognizing the threats, turning away, and not getting too close to them where they are not able to defend them. They're not even having to really rely on a notch because they're defending so early. So Seagull and Rook are the only 2 remaining. We saw Sky get taken down by the Phoenix shot. Banana ran out of gas. His plane will blow up as soon as it stops moving. And then Seagull and Rook are the only 2 remaining. So, and then we've got 4 remaining for 343rd.
Well, 343rd could, start getting a couple of these jets up high now and start getting some look down, shoot down capability here. I don't really see a need for them to all be down below 10,000. I mean, the 14 up there in the north's at 16 at the moment. That's a 120 from 5 miles on Seagull there from Seba, and both of those missiles are getting trashed. But yeah, like I said, I think always be climbing can come back into play here, and they've well and truly got this match under control. I think they can start getting some altitude up here, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's Nolan Starry Fox looking hard at Rook now down there in the south all by himself.
What I'd like to see is for one guy to put a missile on Seagull, push him further to the north, which we're just seeing 343rd split into 2 ships. Phoenix now coming in on Rook, and Rook is on a certain river without a paddle, without a movement instrument, if you will, and Rossman in the Tomcat barely misses out on his second kill. Rook dies to a 120B instead. So the Phoenix, and we saw it just come through late. I don't know what that Phoenix was doing, but he barely missed out on his second kill. Now we've got Seagull all by himself against a 4-ship from 343rd. So, Lobo, this is not looking good.
Not good.
For TFS 81.
But I think the interesting question would be whether Rossman is just dragging or whether he actually has SA on Seagull. I'm sure he has SA on him, but more to the point, I definitely think that Seba does. Seba definitely sees Seagull, and he's in pursuit now at 5 miles.
So let me give you guys a split screen so you guys can see what's going on. So Seagull is sitting here low, trying to get into a position where he can try and line of sight something. But guys, if you look at this map, there is nothing here to hide behind. If he continues on this northerly course, it's just flat land. Nothing is here. And I think he's recognizing that. He's now recommitting. Seagull, you've got to slow down, brother. Oh, no. And he's got a 120B coming in on his right side. I don't think he's going to be able to get away from it. And he gets taken down. He does get this 120B off on Rossman. And Rossman, I think, is going to eat this coming from low to high. And there it is. So Seagull able to take somebody down from the grave. Takes down Rossman. But that's not going to be anywhere near enough to be able to give TFS 81 any sense of a victory as they get railroaded. 343rd still has 3 pilots remaining. TFS 81 has none. Lobo, what do you think happened there? I mean, what was TFS 81's downfall?
I just don't think that they were able to play out against 343 in the sense that 343, they had really good SA, the big brain plays there, and just dragging back into fresh jets, in trail. Like you could see, they definitely had a game plan coming into this, and it was just to play it conservatively, fire, turn, drag, and they weren't overcommitting themselves. Whereas the 81st seemed to get isolated. You saw Rook get isolated down there in the south. And when they had the 4 jets show up, they didn't really do anything with it. It wasn't that they overcommitted, but I just think that they were lacking a little bit on mutual support,
right,
and maybe keeping their finger on the pulse with what 343 were actually trying to employ against them in that grinder, basically.
Well, we've seen this the past several matches we've seen. The teams that have a tendency to commit into these engagements one at a time are usually the ones that go out in a body bag. We've seen it time and time again. It is very important to commit together. 343rd did a really good job of never overextending. Rossman unfortunately got taken down by that rogue 120 that came on Seagull's recommit. There really wasn't a whole lot he could do. Maybe recognize that he's getting into a position and defend early when he saw the nose from Seagull come around. But other than that, I didn't really see too many mistakes from 343rd, and I got to give them more credit, again, that they defended early and defended often and defended effectively, that no missile except for that last one became really any type of a threat to any of their aircraft. So huge kudos to them for that type of defense. And guys, I got to point out that this is a very short map, so RTB is very, very fast.
I want to give them star points for that 141 as well. That was hilarious.
The 141. What?
The Tald.
Oh yeah. I don't know that did anything. Maybe it just caused confusion.
I don't think it did anything, but it was funny. It was great to see.
Well, I mean, it could have caused some confusion. We don't really know. It could have caused some problems with sorting. It did push. It seemingly pushed TFS 81 back. Maybe it put them on the defensive and gave 343rd an advantage there. It's kind of hard to say it didn't do anything because we're not in the cockpits. So it didn't get anything shot at it. I'll say that. I'll give it that.
Yeah, but if I come to one of these SATAL matches, I see a Hornet loading up harpoons. Now I'll know why.
You'll know why. Exactly. Exactly. Shifty Mover says Starry Fox 9 has 7 missiles remaining. Does he really? Yeah, he only shot 1. 1 missile launched from Starry Fox 9. So fantastic weapons management from 343rd. We saw several launches coming from Rosmum in the Tomcat, but I think all of his Phoenix shots were effective. I mean, one barely missed its intended target. I don't know why it missed. And one got the kill, the opening kill against Sky. So I got to give them credit where it's due. They did a really good job of defending, and they did a really good job at shot selection. Waiting on Null to RTB. And then I think there is 1 pilot remaining. Oh, Saber, I think, is out of fuel.
Yeah.
No? No, he's not.
Is he not back at 220 just conserving gas?
He's conserving gas, but I don't know. We won't bother to wait for him to get back, I guess I'll say.
Yeah. TFS 81 saying the harpoon's better than a TALD. They deployed it and it attracted 3 slammers. That's hilarious.
Well, probably because it moves a bit faster.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if you launched a TALD as a decoy and it ran into somebody and killed him? I mean, the odds of that happening are exponentially low. I mean, next to infinity. But it would be really funny if that happened.
Maybe what you need to do is just load up lots of TALDs and, launch them, and then maybe they'll have an effect. But, man, I've seen those things when you have a mission that has SAMs, and the AI SAMs fight everything they've got at those things. That
really makes sense. Effective. But the players, I think, do a really good job of recognizing, and TFS 81 showcased that, did a really good job recognizing, hey, that's probably a TALD. We're not going to waste any missiles on it, based solely on its airspeed. But something that could happen is, what would happen if an aircraft mimicked a TALD in its flight speed, right? If they got really slow and made the enemy think it was a TALD, and then they got in deep, you know? Big brain moves.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
You'd probably die.
Risky.
But, you know.
You'd probably die, yeah.
It's worth a shot. Somebody pull that out. Guys, that's it for round 1. 343rd takes it with 3 pilots remaining over TFS 81. We are moving on to round 2. I'm going to send you guys back to the Super Gut. Alpha Whiskey did a phenomenal job on this one. And then we will be back for round 2. Again, TFS 81 down 1-0 against 343rd.
Outrageous, if you can't fit me.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are sitting here at Novo, I think. Napa, somewhere. Where the hell are we, Loblo? Napa. We're at Napa. We're at Napa. So we're here at Napa with 343rd. We'll be going over to TFS 81 here shortly. Just wanted to regroup on who is flying what. Sieber in an F-18, Rossman in the F-14 in the back, and then we've got Starry, Fox 9, and Null in the F-18s in the front. So same players, pilots being representing 343rd here. And if we flip over and look at TFS 81, at the same time we've got Banana in the Tomcat, Sky in an F-16. Let's jump down the runway. Sky in an F-16. Where is everybody else? Are they down here? Oh, I ran away from them. They were down here. I was just in front of them. So Sky in an F-18.
Do you know what I think?
Or 16, excuse me. Banana in a 14, Rook in an 18, and Seagull in an 18. Sorry, Lobo, go ahead.
No, sorry, I cut you off. What I was going to say was, I think I know what happened with Banana last round. He punched off his tanks really early. No, but he punched off his bags really early. Do you remember that? Maybe he ditched a whole bunch of fuel he thought he still had.
Maybe, but the Tomcat carries a ton of internal fuel. I wouldn't think it would be an issue, would you? I can't imagine that would be a problem.
Well, you know, when we BFM it, and it's in gate for a long time, yeah, it runs out of fuel pretty fast. Big engines.
Big engines, maybe. Yeah, Silver Phoenix says 16,000 pounds of internal fuel. She's like a big pregnant lady. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Rook, what? TFS 81 Rook or Sky or TFS 81 Banana, do you guys know what happened to the Tomcat? Was he just in gate for too long at lower altitude? I don't know. Maybe you bled fuel or something. I don't know. Something happened. And it wasn't good. You didn't have any fuel and you had to land at Krimsk.
There you go. Tanks were empty as I dropped them. Okay.
Yeah, if you're going to ingress in gate, you got to be high to get that better fuel economy. If you're doing it low, you're going to go through. I mean, you can see it in the F-16. It goes through stuff so fast. So fast. Both teams finishing up taking off. Looks like we're looking at Rossman and Sieber being the final ones to take off, at least for 343rd. But if we look at TFS 81, TFS 81 is finishing up with Seagull and Rook taken to the air. What do you think, Loblo, TFS 81 needs to do in order to come back and tie this up?
Not get isolated.
Yeah.
Provide mutual support to one another.
Now, when you
if they get isolated, 343 are just going to spot it and punish it.
Yeah, the 343rd did seem to do a pretty good job of recognizing when people were isolated. When we saw it in the last two pilots, they recognized that they were separated, sent two ship to one and a two ship to the other. So I do have to give them credit where that's due, that they did a good job of recognizing when that happened. Do you think TFS 81 just needs to stay closer together? Is that going to be enough to help mitigate this, or you think there's something else they have to do?
Well, I think that ship has already sailed. I mean, if you look at them right now, we've got Sky out there in the Viper, Banana to his north, and Rook and Seagull in trail. Let's see what the distances are here. 21 miles for Seagull. So unless they're actually planning on employing a big grinder where they don't overcommit, but they just turn and drag, then yeah, I mean it could work. But I didn't really see that from them in the first round. You know,
right.
I definitely saw it from 343rd, but the way they're heading out to this fight right now, it doesn't look like there's going to be much mutual support going on.
Right. So people need to. I just want people to think about this, and I don't know if I'm right. This is just how I've looked at Gold League in comparison to Diamond. When you have fewer aircraft in an arena, you can't spread out as much. You almost have to be more aggressive, because if another team is able to be aggressive and you don't turn them around, well, now they have the nose on advantage and you're running away, and you have to do a 180-degree turn in order to be able to be as offensive as they are, right? So if you're this far away, and we look at the map here, if I flip over, and we look at the map here, if you're this spread out using 343rd for an example, it's really hard to combat that aggressive nature if the other team decides to do it. And TFS 81 kind of has the same thing. If we look at Sky and Banana, that's 20-mile difference. I mean, that is a substantial amount of time and a substantial distance that would need to be traversed by a friendly in order to provide help or support to your fellow comrades. So in 4v4, I personally think it is more pivotal to stay closer together than it is in Diamond League, just because you have fewer aircraft. People have a tendency to be more aggressive, and being more aggressive when there's less aircraft also has a tendency to be more effective.
Well, look at the use of the bubble here as well. You know, we've got, let's see.
And the
Sky
bubble's
at Mark,
probably about 60
1
miles, just so people know.
Right. And so you got Sky there at Mark 1.3, now 16 miles from Bulls. And Seagull, on the other hand, 30 miles behind him, doing Mark 0.78. And he's still like 45 miles from Bulls.
I don't know how I feel. That's just maybe a communication issue. I don't know, but it's concerning because Sky is getting isolated. Maybe it's this initial shot. Maybe he was just trying to get in on this initial shot. But if he doesn't turn around, I mean, if we look at Banana's speed, Banana's rocking 514 knots, Sky's at 700. And that is only going to increase as he dives and gains more energy as he trades the altitude for airspeed.
30 miles on launch, Rob. Yeah, that's just insane. I mean, I don't really understand what 81 are playing at here.
Could be a grand plan, though, that we just may not have all of the pieces for. This AMRAAM's gonna be a problem for Noel as it comes in. But again, look at the defensive prowess being showcased by 343rd, not wasting any time. They're being almost overly aggressive in their defensive maneuvers, defending early, taking no chances. I mean, Noel defended as soon as he got that missile warning and got the hell out of Dodge. So I got to continually give 343rd kudos for not trying to wait, because when you try and play chicken with a missile, a lot of times the missile's going to come out on top and you're going to be dead.
Right, but just take a look at this from 81st perspective there. You know, they've got Sky out cold at the moment, 3 jets coming in, and the way that 343rd are flying with this mutual support grinder, where you've got 2 turning cold and they're peeling away from one another, and you've got Seba and Rosmub coming up through the middle. How do you deal with that when you're approaching the fight in the way that 81st are approaching it here?
How do you approach it as 81st against 343rd? You kind of have to approach it.
Right?
You kind of have to approach it the same way and try and get people to isolate. I mean, you approach it the same way you do in any circumstance. You just have to. You have to, in my eyes, be aggressive along with them. If you're defensive, and you can see how aggressive 343rd is being in this situation, 343rd is recognizing when people aren't shooting at them. So instead of Starry Fox 9 and Noel running all the way behind and turning in and recommitting behind Rossman and Sieber, you can see they recommitted in a line abreast formation, and now they're more of a wall. So you can plainly tell that their game plan is aggression, aggression, aggression into press, press, press. When nobody is on them, they're hot. And I think in Gold League, I personally think that's the right choice. I think that's the way to go. It's usually the more aggressive team that can defend well that is going to be able to come out with the win in Gold League, in my eyes. That's maybe in combat in general. The team that's able to walk that line the best is going to be able to win most often. And 343rd is doing a very good job. And I think what we're going to see in this is they're going to defend these missiles, and as soon as that missile's trashed, they're going to recommit. So the Phoenix is now coming in a Rossman. He's defending early. And what's going to happen, I think, is as soon as he recognizes that this missile is dead, he's going to turn around and recommit hot. Whereas what we've seen out of TFS 81 in the past round is, I think, if I remember correctly, they're getting launched on, and then they're continuing a more defensive presence instead of immediately recommitting into an aggressive stance.
And look at 343rd again, picking up on the fact that Rook is isolated in the north, and now you've got Seba and Starry Fox 9, heading up that way to create a 2v1. Identifying that Sky is not in an immediate position to assist him. I think they're all just turning cold now. Rook turned out cold, and that situation ended up diffusing itself.
Yeah, and again, I gotta point out that what I said earlier. Sieber went cold with Rossman to defend against that 54, but then recognized that Phoenix wasn't on him and immediately turned around. So that's a perfect example of that. Now Noel has a Phoenix on him. Is he going to be okay getting away from that? There's the Phoenix 2 miles away. He gets into the Notch. He's still pretty fast, but notches really well. There goes the Phoenix. So continual clinic being put on by 343rd in defensive measures. I really like it.
Well, he managed to avoid annulment there.
He did. Way to take my own saying there. He
well, you didn't use it. You didn't use it, so I had to.
Well done. Well done. Rossman, if we flip over, I would have liked to see him recommit early, but his teammates are doing a really good job of putting the aggression out for him. So really good job by the rest of the guys. Sky, though, pretty aggressive against Sieber. Is he going to be able to get away from this 120? He's defending early. Where's that 120? So let's grab the 120's perspective. Go to split screen. Yeah, that 120 lost its mark. So it's three miles away. And when you defend early, ladies and gentlemen, this can happen too, where the missile just loses its track.
Now just take a look at this. You've got this situation with loads of potential up in the north there. Rook all the way up in the north, trying to bait Starry Fox 9 in, and potentially a 2v1. Let's see if Starry Fox 9 overcommits himself here. Well, actually, you've got Rook again turning out cold. So what I'm seeing from 81st in this fight is that they're being ultra conservative. It looks like to me they're not really putting much pressure on 343rd at all. And, they have the potential.
They are in the south. They are definitely in the south. There's a 2v1 situation developing in the south. Noel puts a 120 out on Banana. Banana responds with a 54 of his own. Banana does a really good job of getting away from that AIM 120, and Noel does the same thing, being able to get away from the Phoenix that was launched at him. We can see him low in the hills here. Both pilots were able to line of sight the incoming threats that were launched at them, but Noel does a better job of recommitting on the offensive after defeating the incoming threat. So you can see that TFS 81 is cold now, while 343rd has defeated the threats and is recommitted on the offensive. And now TFS 81, Seagull, and Banana have to recommit 181 degrees to be in the same hot aspect or same offensive position that 343rd is already in.
Well, Sky up in the north there, that not all slammers are created equal, and in this case, those slammers are strapped to a Viper. So if he wanted, he could be climbing like a rocket ship right now, getting high and fast, and he got another tail in the air. But Sky could be getting high and fast and applying some real pressure to shut Seba down. Seba is totally focused on Seagull right now, but the fact that Sky is staying down at 6,000, I don't think is doing his team any favors.
Well, Banana now is in a lot of trouble. The F-14 from TFS 81 of Banana is being launched on, and I think this is going to be it for him. That missile's getting closer, and smash, and Banana gets taken out. First casualty is the F-14 from TFS 81, and I'm going to pause this so we don't miss anything, because I think there's another one that happens here shortly after, and I just want to make sure that we don't miss anything, any of the action. So we're going to flip over, and I'm going to hit play. So Sky has launched a 120 in on Sieber and is now headlong against Noel. So Noel is 1v2. Sieber's running away from multiple 120s. And 120s being exchanged between 343rd and TFS 81 in this situation, and this may be a trade situation. Sky gets taken out. Is Noel going to be able to get away from this? Noel does get away from it. He's okay, but now he's got another missile chasing him. Does he get away from this one? No, I don't think he does, and Knoll gets taken down. So multiple aircraft getting dispatched here rapidly in this onset or slaughter that is going down. And now we've got Rook, who may get taken down high altitude, and Rook gets taken down. So 4 aircraft here in rapid succession go down, and unfortunately 3 of them were for one team. So Seagull finds himself in a 1v3 situation, much like the end of round 1.
And Seba not recommitting. He's not silly. He's just going to drag back to Starry Fox 9 and Rossman. Those 2 guys are in a perfect position to provide mutual support. And what are they doing at the moment? I'm not sure why they're not committing.
I think they're recognizing that maybe it's not an ideal situation, but Sieber needs to defend this, and Sieber gets taken down. So great execution. Oh, and we got a merge
right there.
So great execution so far by Seagull. I'm going to try and get this from multiple perspectives here. That's the same perspective. That's Seagull. Starry Fox 9 is now on the 6 of Seagull. And I think Seagull's going to eat it. Seagull did his best, but you know, when you're in a situation of 1v3, there's only so much you can do.
They came in with a solid game plan, and again, they just executed well. And, it's not to say that 81st didn't have their opportunities. They had the potential for a 2v1 against Starry Fox 9 in the north there, but they didn't capitalize. They just played it safe. They could have shut him down and then collapsed him from the north on the fight that was happening in the south. Right. And they just missed the boat on that.
Yeah, and that was, they missed it. Chad is saying that Seagull fired on Starry Fox 9 but didn't get the kill. We'll have to look at that in TAC view. That's unfortunate. That could have made him pass the merge, but even at that situation, it's still a 2v1. And I think what 343rd was trying to do in that situation was egress away and then regroup and then recommit together. But what Starry Fox 9 didn't recognize, or whoever what it was for TF or for 343rd, didn't recognize was that Seagull, I think it was closer than they may have thought. It's like the rear view mirrors and stuff. Objects are closer than they appear. And that looked like that was the situation that happened, and with how it unfolded and what we saw.
Well, Seagull did great work there, coming in from the north, committing on Seba, and taking him out. Who else did he manage to take out? He took Null out, and then he took Seba out, and then he got eliminated by Starry Fox 9.
Yeah, we'll have to look and see what happened in the TAC view. Not entirely sure what happened. But there was just so much stuff that happened there so fast. I mean, it was, how many pilots died? 6 pilots died in under 2 minutes. I think we got them all. I think I caught all of the deaths, but 6 kills took place there in 2 minutes. So it was rapid onset of action. And it all really went down and started in that southern hemisphere with that 2v2 situation. But I got to give both teams credit for that round. That round really could have gone either way. I don't think that was TFS 81 was necessarily at fault in any way, shape, or form. That was just a great round. Now they're RTB back to a Napa. I don't think we're going to have any issues with fuel. Rossmum in the F-14 is sitting here at gate, so he should be fine. Starry Fox 9's at 98% engine RPM. He's going to be okay. But Starry, your lights were on the entire time. What is that? So next time, guys, how would you feel if we put TAC view in the upper corner of this stuff? Would you guys like that? Would that be beneficial to anybody? Like, take the scene that you guys are seeing right now. If I can put, like, a picture-in-a-picture in, like, the upper right corner, would that be beneficial to anyone to be able to see TAC view? Low Blow would be driving it, so hopefully we could make things close so you guys could actually see, because I know being able to see a 1080p screen when it's that small may be difficult to read and see what's going on. We can fast forward it, but there's really not, well, I'll fast forward a little bit. There's really not a huge reason to fast forward because it's, the RTB isn't that far, right? They don't have that far to go. It was, I think, Maycop against Anapa, so not too far of a distance. And how far away was the bubble? How far was ingress here? Yeah, 60 miles. So that's not going to be a problem at all. Slow it down so we can see these guys RTBing. There we go. Well, something else I need to remind everybody of is if you do exclamation point TAC view, there is real-time telemetry. So you guys can view TAC view in real time with these matches, if you guys didn't know. As long as you have the TAC view advanced license, that is. Sorry, Fox9 leading us in. We're going to pretend like he just turned his lights on. Needs to drop his gear. Low blow. Rossman carried 2 talents. He's got another one on the belly of his aircraft. I'm shocked to see how many missiles these guys are still carrying.
Yeah, 343rd are a great team.
They're doing,
like I said the other day, they're really aggressive in BFM as well.
They are really aggressive, and I think that aggressiveness that you just pointed out carries over here into Gold League. But they're also really good, from what I've seen, at weapons management. They're doing a really good job of saving their weapons and making sure that they've got them for later in the rounds. Because you don't have the weapons, you're not going to be able to do anything unless you kamikaze into the opposition. One of these cameras decided it didn't like it.
I think I've just lost the stream there. Is it still up?
Yeah, it's still going. It's just kind of stuck.
Something I've got to mention, Malta, is this Thursday at 1400 Zulu, I'll be BFMing with Tim Davies from Fast Jet Performance on my Twitch. So we'll be flying some merges together. Tim is a former RAF Tornado GR4 pilot, and also
that'll be
flew the
cool.
Hawk. So yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting.
I don't know how much the Tornado transfers into BFM. I know they still BFM in it, but I don't know how effective it was. Does it have an internal gun?
Yeah, it does.
The Tornado is one of those planes that I don't know a ton about. It's a cool plane, and it was extensively used by a lot of the NATO powers in Europe, but I don't know a whole lot about it. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, only Mark 1.3 from what I was reading on the GR4, but I'm sure there are some people in chat who know a lot more about it than I do.
Right. Well, guys, we're going to move on to the TAC view section of this. Again, this was TFS 81 taking on 343rd. 343rd came out on top 2 rounds to 0 in this one. We're going to move on to TAC view. I'm going to send you guys back to the Super Cup while I get that set up, and we will be back in just a minute. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here at the TAC view debriefing section of this matchup. We're taking a look at round 1 to see how this whole thing went down. And round 1, there's not a whole lot that I think needs to be gone over except for the sky. took off late. Well, he took off and then had to RTB due to unknown circumstances. We'll blame it on his crew chief. I guess his crew chief done screwed up. But I think the highlight of round one for TFS 81 was just the committance into these fights and isolation of their pilots. They just have a tendency to commit one at a time and isolate themselves in a lot of these situations. We're still in a 4v4 situation. This is the first one. Sieber takes a really good shot against Sky, and Sieber doesn't really have to worry about anything here. I mean, Seagull and Banana are cold. Rook is flanking left to right in front of his nose. So Sieber gets a free shot. And how far was that? Or sorry, it's Rosbom gets a free shot here. And that's from 12 miles. That is a very, very dangerous Mark 47 shot. There it goes. And Sky, I guess if he recognizes this, needs to not run away. Notch it. Notch, notch, notch. These things are not too difficult to notch, but you just got to trust it. You got to get in and trust that you know how to notch, trust that the missile's not going to hit you, and get into it. But he tries to outrun a Phoenix at Mach 3, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is not going to happen. And it bamboozles him. It disintegrates him. It smashes him. He is obliterated in little pieces all over the ground, and Sky goes out as the first casualty. Last to enter, first to get taken out. So now we're down to a 3v4, and I got to point it out again. 343rd is just more aggressive. I mean, Sieber doesn't even bother to turn around. He recognizes nobody's looking at me. I'm just going to continue and put another missile, or put a missile on somebody else. I like it a lot. Puts a missile on Banana, forces Banana to defend. Now everybody from TFS 81 is defensive, and this is the beginning of the end for them. You can just see how 343rd is flying. They're just more aggressive in this situation. And I think that's gonna work out for them. And and Banana ran out of fuel.
343rd just totally not overcommitting themselves.
Yeah,
they had that fight under control from start to finish.
They did. And this was when they recognized that, hey, this is a 2v4 instead of a 3v4 now. We're going to split this up into 2v1s. And they do a really good job of isolating the bandits. They don't allow them to recommit and take them both out. I really like this flying and execution by 343rd in this situation. Unfortunate that Rook and Seagull take opposite paths for defending incoming missiles. One goes north and one goes south, and that leads to their separation right here. But in a 2v1 or 2v4 situation, there's not going to be much you're going to be able to do in this anyway. So that's the end of that round as Seagull finally gets run down and hunted down. He does take Rossman with him, but in this situation with these numbers in this terrain, there's not much that's going to happen. So moving on to round two, and TFS 81 group says this is the one that we need to be looking at, or this match. And we're going to look at it here late. Let me bring this up. Boop. Okay. So here is round two. And this is what you were talking about, Lobla, with Sky getting in here really deep, isolating himself. I don't know what the reasoning was for that. Maybe Sky was hoping to get an early kill if they didn't defend it. He does the smart thing and doesn't overextend, so I got to applaud him for that. Aim 54 easily defended by Rossman, no issues. 120 easily defended by Banana, no problems there. But this early defensive posturing from 343rd and from TFS 81 in this round is a good showcase of how easy these missiles are to defeat as long as you defend them early enough. You don't have to do anything tricky. You don't have to do anything funny. You just got to defend early.
81st did a better job in this round, but if you take a look at the situation in the north, this is where I think just a little bit forward from here, Sky could have helped out in the north there, and they could have created that 2v1 against Starry Fox 9 and taken him out of the match, right? Because he is a little bit exposed up there by himself. And let's not forget, Sky's in a Viper, right? So he has that capacity to rapidly change his energy state and give some extra energy to those slammers and surprise some of these guys, you know, get up to that Mark 1.55 shot and hurt someone. But I think that Viper was underutilized all around, to be honest.
Right. I I mean, he could have, but Starry Fox 9, I think, recognized that he was a little bit overextended and then turned around and didn't allow himself to overcommit. So even if Sky chased Starry, I think it would have led into a dragon bag situation where maybe Rossman would have turned in here and just put one into him. But this is where the beginning of the end for TFS 81, as things rapidly start to disintegrate for their side as people just start dying. This is a great shot from Sieber. This was launched from 4 miles, and the only way you're getting away from this is notching. And I don't know, maybe he just wasn't seen on data link because they are getting lower here. They're at 500 feet or 5,000 feet. So I don't know what happened there. Nobody sees him. They're both running. Not quite sure. Maybe there's a breakdown in communication. Maybe Sky said he got him, but he didn't recognize that he was too close. He was this close to Banana. So Banana is the first casualty. And then I think the next one is going to be Sky. Sky gets taken down. So now we're down to a 2v1 down here to the south and a 2v1. The exact same as what happened in round 1, 2v1 situations. But Siegel does a really good job. Siegel takes down Knoll. And now it's him and Sieber. Well, let's look up here to the north. So, and this is an AIM-54 from 12 miles at 20,000 feet. Yeah, that's not a place you want to be in at all. I wonder if the TAL did anything in these parts. I mean, we see them. They don't get launched on, but maybe they're causing confusion. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think it did anything. Yeah, but Rook in a dangerous situation up here now.
So now Siegel chasing Sieber, aim 9 and 120. Sieber gets hit, and then a 120 gets put on Starry Fox 9. Ooh, yeah, you guys are right. So this would have been a 1v1. Ooh. So what can happen here in these situations, from what I understand about DCS, is supposedly proximity fuses do work. And if you turn like this, either cockpit towards the missile or belly towards the missile, the proximity fuse can detonate early and it can not cause any damage. So I kind of wonder if that's what happened, because we can see him banking. And I was talking to some people, and supposedly this is a known bug. I don't know if that's what actually happened here, but that's what looks like happened. So Siegel, man, this could have very easily been a 1v1 situation. I don't think Starry Fox 9 was trying to do anything malicious. I think it was just something. Oh, they say it hit a missile? No, it doesn't look like it hit a missile. I think that's just the prox fuse, or it doesn't look like it hit a missile. The missile takes off.
Maybe go into oblique view. Also.
Maybe he double tapped. Oh, wrong guy. Let's look. I don't see it hitting a missile. No. I actually don't see it. Maybe it did. The box shows up. Maybe it did. I'd have to check the track. I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know. That was close. That was really close.
Yeah.
Bees are really easy to spoof. So, but the square on the missile doesn't necessarily mean that it hit. TACView can be wrong. We'd have to look at the server track and see what actually happened. Maybe it hit the missile. I don't know. But the fact that the missile's still here, not entirely sure what happened. But that missile's also not tracking. So maybe it did. That's interesting. Huh. But really, really close. And that could have gone either way. Siegel just blows through. And I would have liked to see him. Well, I guess he probably thought that Starry Fox 9 was dead. But Starry Fox 9, sometimes you just got to have the luck on your side, and recommits him behind Siegel, puts the 120 out, and Siegel, I think, was like, oh no, he's not dead. and dies to that 120 because he was in a really poor position, not realizing that the guy behind him that he thought he had taken out was still alive. So well done by both teams there in that situation.
Absolutely. Yeah, 81st definitely put up a better fight in that second round. But I think, yeah, they just needed to capitalize in the north there a bit more, put a bit more pressure on. Could have potentially had a different outcome. I feel like they were a bit conservative in the north on that one. But, you know, when it all started to unravel, it all happened very fast.
Right. Right. Well, guys,
Good job.
another quick one here. We had a quick one on Saturday. We got a quick one today. Next round is going to be, and I'm going to turn the music back on. Next round is going to be, gotta go look at it. That is not how I wanted to look at it. Why is that? Open original. Is German Tactical Air Group against... I can't even read that. Why can't I read that? Oh, against Phoenix Task Force. So German Tactical Air Group taking on Phoenix Task Force is going to be the next one. That's going to be Thursday. And I don't know if we're going to have Saturday because I actually have some stuff that I have to do with the house we're building. So be aware that there's probably not going to be a stream on Saturday. So Thursday's probably going to be the last one for this week. Reminder again that 1400 Zulu on Thursday. So before this one, before we kick off here, Low Blow is going to be streaming some merges with who'd you say it was? Who's the pilot?
It's Tim Davies, former Tornado GR4 pilot from Fast Jet Performance. So go over to YouTube, give him a follow. He's got about 22,000 followers on there. And we're just going to be doing some friendly merges over at the clinic. So, by the way, my Twitch is showing up wrong. I've changed my Twitch, so it's here. I'll write it in now.
Right. Yeah, write it in the chat. He changed his name because everybody thought he was Slow Blow, which I thought was hilarious. I think that's an awesome name.
That was getting old real quick, so I had to change my actual Twitch name. And we haven't yet updated it in Streamlabs on here, but
we'll fix
Thursday, 1400 Zulu this week, I'll be doing some BFM with Tim Davies from Fast Jet Performance.
So if you guys have any interest in BFM, make sure you check that out, and we will be back with German Tactical Air Group against Phoenix Task Force on Thursday. So let me flip the cameras here. So quick shout-outs to Carbon, dropping 100 bits. Dagwood for the Tier 1 sub for the last 4 months. Welcome back. Monk dropped 1,000 bits. Thank you very much, brother. Monk also gifted a community sub and then hit me with a penny while I'm on stage dancing on the pole. Much appreciated. Gordo B went off his rails for a little bit. Flat Spin Seagull, Strike, F-16 Falcon, AB-32 Killer, 81 Rook, and a community sub. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully you enjoy your stay. Gifted one to Hera Missy. I guess that was 3 days ago. So we're all cut up. Thank you guys. Much appreciated. Again, we will see you Thursday. German Tactical Air Group taking on Phoenix Task Force. Oh, and I also want to point out that there's probably going to be a new video series on the DCS World Events channel. It's going to be really simple, where it's going to be one engagement, and I'm going to try and get the pilot that won an engagement to come on and talk to us about what was going through his head during that engagement. So these videos are going to be really quick, like 5 to 10 minutes, where we talk about things and what was going through his head, and maybe we can get their not Phoenix Task Force? Am I saying this wrong? Who was it? I thought it was Phoenix Task Force Premier Edition. Who is it then? Anyway, we're just gonna go from there. Yeah, I thought I changed these logos and they're not right. OBS screwed me up. Oh, Eclipse Task Force. Okay, it's Eclipse Task Force. I'm sorry. So German Tactical Air Group against Eclipse Task Force, and you guys can disregard the images below. But that's going to be taking place on Thursday. No stream on Saturday, more than likely. Maybe I'll get one in there, but probably not going to happen. I got to move rocks. As exciting as that sounds. As exciting as that sounds. But until next time, guys, stay safe in those virtual skies, and we will see you guys next time. Have a good one.